Welcome to the Pooch Parenting Podcast, a podcast for parents with dogs. I'm Michelle Stern, a certified professional dog trainer, mom, and former teacher. Living with kids and dogs at the same time can feel like a circus. I know because I lived it too. Join us as we interview a variety of experts and parents to discuss topics that will make parenting with dogs easier, safer, and less chaotic. Also, you can love living with your dog again. I'll always keep it real, which might even mean that you hear the messiness of life in the background on occasion, but at least you know you're not alone. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about whether or not kids should go into the dog crate and how I settled a family argument about the matter. But in the meantime, I wanted to remind you that it's not too late to sign up for my new online workshop about how to help your kids and dogs to have the best relationship so that they have a lifetime of bonding and love together. Because that's why you got your dog in the first place, is so they could grow up loving each other. So if you're interested in taking this workshop, I will put a link to where you can sign up inside the show notes. And anyone who takes the workshop is going to get a sneaky backdoor access into my membership called the Pooch Parenting Society, which is the only membership for parents with kids and dogs. And it helps you reduce the chaos and the juggle and helps you parent your kids and dogs with less worry and stress, because we have plenty of stress as it is. All right, we're going to dive into today's topic. So I got called in by a woman who wanted me to settle an argument that she was having with her husband about whether or not her child should be allowed to go into their puppy's crate. So the scenario goes like this. They have a new Great Dane puppy who's about 11 weeks old, and they got a crate for the dog so the dog can learn to have a safe space and rest in the crate. The woman said that the child should never be allowed in the crate because it's a dog safe zone, but the husband disagreed. And so I got called in to help solve this discussion. I say discussion instead of argument because that sounds better. But at the end of the day, I love the fact that I can get called in by clients to help them sort of come to consensus about how to move forward with making parenting decisions about their kids and dogs. So I'm curious what you would say in this situation. Are you team mom of no kid in the crate or team dad of sure, why not? And I would be super curious to hear why. However, because you're not here talking with me right now, I'm going to answer this for you and talk to you just a teeny bit about how I help them to understand the situation, both from the child's perspective and also from the dog's perspective. So if the reason that you're getting a crate for your dog is to give your dog a safe place to rest, sleep, relax, maybe to have a special bone or a new toy that's extra special, so that the dog has no need to be overprotective of its resources, then it's really nice if we can give that dog a sense of comfort and safety, which means that that's the dog's safe zone. Now, if we allow our children to go into the crate, then we are invading the dog's space and we are breaking trust, because the dog needs to understand that if it is uncomfortable around the child, that it can go and retreat to the crate. Now, I want you to imagine how this dog would feel if the dog was in the crate and a noisy, cranky toddler crawled up to the crate and tried to go inside with the dog. Now, first of all, we need to realize that the dog would be trapped. The child would be in the entryway of the crate, preventing the dog from escaping. It could cause a lot of stress for the dog that it feels like it has zero consent in the current situation because it was approached without giving its permission. And then you have this toddler who's unpredictable, who is right in front of you and not letting the dog out. So this could definitely create some serious problems. Some dogs might bowl the child over in an effort to get out of the situation as quickly as possible. Some dogs may growl at the child, and some dogs may bite the child. And so from my perspective, it's not even worth taking the risk. Now, from the child's perspective, we're teaching the child that the child can go anywhere in the house that it wants to, and that he or she does not have to give the dog any respect when it's sleeping or chewing a special bone or toy, or when it's asked to have some privacy by retreating to its crate. And this can create a culture within your family members where they don't feel a lot of trust between themselves within the family dynamic, right? So as parents, I really think that it's our job to protect our dog and how our dog is feeling, and also to protect our children in a way that I would say maybe is proactive. So if we just have a very clean and easy to follow rule, crates are for dogs, crates are not for children, that if our child gets close to the crate, we can say, hey, come over here instead. The crate is the dog's. Now, I will give you a secret pro tip that I often share just with my clients, but I will sometimes create a zone around the pen or crate with blue painter's tape on the floor to create a buffer zone to remind kids who aren't able to remember these kinds of things on their own, to remind them that if we cross the blue tape, it's like crossing hot lava, right? It's a nice visual cue for children. So setting up a barrier, a visual barrier or a reminder with blue tape around a crate or pen can sometimes help kids stop in their tracks. You can also make it fun by playing games like red light, green light, things like that in the house, so that if you see the child approaching the crate, you can really quickly make it fun instead of yelling stop or no or I told you 1,000 times. You could say red light, and then you can ask the child to do something else. So I hope that this was helpful. It was helpful for the husband in this situation to hear the different perspectives, that he could be putting his child at risk if the child was allowed to go in the crate, and he could be setting his dog up to fail, because we want the dog to be able to retreat from an uncomfortable situation and to choose a safe place like a crate. But if we don't respect that the crate is actually a safe place, then we've possibly done more harm than good, and there may not even be any point in having the crate in the first place. So I am curious what you think about this topic. Feel free to email me, michelle@poochparenting.net, and let me know your take on it. Or if you have a story about crates and your dog having a safe zone in your house. Take care, and I'll see you next time. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Pooch Parenting Podcast on the podcast app of your choice. For ongoing support, get on the wait list for the Pooch Parenting Society, where I share training tips, activities, and coaching so families with dogs can live in harmony. By signing up at safekidsanddogs.com, you'll be the first to know when I open registration again for new members.